What's up, guys? It's Redleg. This is the Monday edition on WTF Nation Radio. Tonight's guest, Bone from Functional Veterans. We'll also do some current events stuff, including all the latest on your boy or girl, Bradley Chelsea Manning, and we'll play some party games a little bit later in the show. Everybody likes party games. Don't go anywhere. After this intro, the Monday edition starts right now. WTF Nation Radio. Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's the Monday edition. It's Monday, and this is a radio show. I'm your host, Redleg. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Tonight's co-host is Mud Puppy.
Hey.
Hey. How's it going?
Running ragged. Enjoying this beautiful warm weather down here.
And, of course, we're joined by Mom as well. Let's get the introductions out of the way, shall we?
Hey, y'all.
And let me push all the appropriate buttons to make things and stuff work. There he goes. Thank you all so much for deciding to spend at least a portion of your Monday evening here with us on WTF Nation Radio and other words. I don't know. Trying to make this sound like a professional operation. Tonight's guest from Functional Veterans, Bone, is going to be here. Functional Veterans is... they're a little organization, a little upstart, I guess. Their goal is to promote the veteran community. They want to show that veterans are active in business in their community and can be a positive influence on social media. They say that they want to dispel the rumors that we are somehow broken or dangerous. And we need to help people realize we're not a liability, but a huge asset to whatever organization we're part of. Amen. So coming up in the second hour, we'll talk to Bone from Functional Veterans. And we'll get into some current event stuff here for the first hour of the show, and then a little bit later down the road, the party games that you guys all love so much. Hello, Xander. And if you're watching, Nay, hi. I told you I'd say hi to you, and you'd see me. Middle-aged, bald, slightly overweight, tattoos. I described myself for you. Here I am in all my glory. Looking a little pale. I don't think the lighting is quite right in here tonight.
Maybe you should have to make one night.
You sound like a robot mud puppy.
Do I?
Yes, you do. Try again.
Skype doing weird Skype things.
So I have to tell everybody how sick and tired I am of fucking Vampire Diaries in my house. Every time I walk through the living room anymore, it's something about Stefan or what's the other dude's name, and then the chick and the other chick and the one with the eyes and the one with the tits, and my house is being invaded by vampires through the television, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Just smile and nod, keep her happy. That's what you do.
Mud Puppy, you're gonna have to try again with your connection, dude. This is not working at all.
Tempo.
Hi, Mom. We'll just move on to the next one.
Okay. I think I've got a good connection, I hope.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Let's do this.
Well, no, see, Amy says the series is over. I won't be in pain too much longer, but what you don't realize is that Mrs. Redleg is watching this on Netflix, and she started from the beginning, and I assume that we're somewhere in the midpoint of this based on the number of episodes that there are and the number of episodes that she's watched and the fact that it's on every time I walk through the living room. I'm sick to death of it. Probably as sick of that as she is of me playing the Xbox.
Probably.
At least the Xbox is funny.
True, and you get to kill people on GTA and blow shit up.
Vampire Diaries is just stupid.
I've heard of it. I've never watched it. That's not my cup of tea.
No. Let's try Mud Puppy again. He's a terrible co-host. Can't even understand him. Let's check the news, shall we? Everybody's favorite transgender traitor.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Convicted national security secret leaker. Surprisingly, I have not caught it. Well, not surprisingly, because of the makeup of the community to which I'm broadcasting. I was going to say, surprisingly, I have not caught a lot of flack, or I have not caught a lot of flack. Every time I read one of these Private Manning stories, I always change the pronouns to the masculine. Just because I can. So let's do this.
All right.
I'm gonna edit as usual on the fly the pronouns here. Private Bradley Manning, because dude and stuff. The transgendered soldier and convicted national security secret leaker will remain an active duty, unpaid soldier, eligible for health care and other benefits, following his scheduled release May 17th from military prison at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, according to the Army. Manning entered prison as a man named Bradley. I don't know if I can edit the rest of this. How about this? I'll just read the rest of the story. Hook up my Xbox on a monitor and make the office a man cave. No, Pip, this is it's already kind of sort of a man cave, but I want to sit on the couch and look at the big screen while I play the Xbox. Manning entered prison as a man named Bradley. Manning changed her name, identified as a woman, and received hormone treatment while incarcerated. On your dime, by the way, taxpayers.
Oh, nice.
Her sentence was commuted in the final days of the Obama administration, a move that infuriated some in the military and President Trump. While Manning's court-martial conviction remains under appeal, she will remain a private in the Army, said Dave Foster, an Army spokesman. As an active-duty soldier, Manning will continue to receive health care and have access to commissaries and military exchanges, but will not get paid. Because, everybody knows how cool the PX of the fucking commissary is.
So, okay, I have no clue how this process works. I would think he would be, getting maybe some sort of dishonorable discharge papers here shortly, because he obviously cannot keep his security clearance because he's been convicted of.
Yeah, but you don't have to have a security clearance to be in the Army.
Well, no, but he was Intel as MOS, right? I would imagine you would have to have a security clearance for that.
Nah, you just can't have access to any secret information.
Well,
anyway,
I don't know. This is stupid.
It's all a formality. It's a statute. Here, I'll read it. Private Manning is statutorily entitled to medical care while on excess leave and in active duty status, pending final appellate review, Foster said. So this has something to do with the law. While the appeals move forward, Manning is still technically a soldier and therefore is entitled to some of the benefits that come along with that, such as the awesome benefits of going to the commissary and the PX and also medical care.
So is he going to throw a fit for not getting his way for his sex change like he did in prison?
Oh no, they got to keep doing that. That's the ball's already rolling on that, so they can't. I mean, I guess some kind of way they could turn around, but the Army refused to disclose the other terms of Manning's release 6 years before her eligibility for parole, citing privacy concerns. She'd been sentenced to 35 years for releasing hundreds of thousands of secret documents to WikiLeaks. Manning appeared at court-martial in the uniform of an enlisted man because, enlisted and a man. Like all soldiers, Manning will be assigned to an Army post, but it's unclear where and to whom she will report. But if this is... Amy says, I don't understand why he has appeals. Well, that's just the way the legal system works. The sentence has been commuted, but I guess the appeals are to have the charges completely done away with. So they're going to appeal the conviction and hope to have it overturned. It's not going to happen. I don't know on what grounds they plan to appeal, because taking something before an appellate court only happens in the case of technicalities. I'm not going to get too deep into what those technicalities are, but a lot of it has to do with procedure at the trial, at the original trial. I don't think Manning has a leg to stand on, so to speak. With Bo Bergdahl, who's still out there running around, waiting on a trial, the dude's got a report every day, just like every other soldier. And it's my understanding that he has, or everybody associated with him and in his unit and whatever, have been told to just stay the fuck away, don't get involved, and shut the hell up. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be what happens with Manning.
I think so too.
Manning will get assigned to some unit, given some, bullshit.
Duty.
I don't even know. I mean, if Manning's in an unpaid status, technically still a soldier. What the fuck? How does that work? Active duty, unpaid soldier, be assigned to a unit, be assigned to an Army post. The ACLU released a statement on Manning's behalf on May 9th. For the first time, I can see a future for myself as Chelsea, Manning said. I can imagine surviving and living as the person who I am and can finally be in the outside world. A little too early, if you ask me. Why, other than the obvious, which is the whole transgender thing and the claims of abuse and discrimination and so on and so forth, why did this case receive special treatment by then President Barack Obama? Why? Why is this case any different than any other? I mean, you got soldiers serving way more time for a lot less than the disclosure of thousands of secret documents.
To me, it just seems like it's a case of feels like, or trying to, I guess, appease the social society of, hey, you can't discriminate against people like this.
I mean, listen, I'm all for fairness, but you disclosed a lot of secret information, and you were sentenced to a certain amount of time legally in court by a military court. And then because you had so many supporters due to your, choice to transition from a man to a woman, and it received so much attention in the headlines, and the ACLU got on board, the conviction's still legal and just. It's all good. It was a legal trial. The sentence was legal and within the constraints allowed by law. It got all this attention because it was Bradley Manning who wanted to turn into Chelsea Manning in prison. I get that gender dysphoria is a thing. It's a psychological thing. And if people identify as one thing or the other, one sex or the other, and I've got a story a little bit later about transabled people. If that is what makes you psychologically sound, so be it. But don't drag me into it, and don't drag my tax dollars into it, and don't, whip the public at large up into a frenzy over the fact that, number one, you're convicted. Listen, you're a traitor. You disclosed secret information that the United States Army possessed. You disclosed that. You are a traitor. Okay, so why do you get to walk when you got other dudes serving longer sentences for lesser crimes? Dudes, chicks, whatever. I mean, I'm just using a masculine pronoun because the hell with it. So let's not release Manning from prison for the wrong reasons. It's a publicity thing. It was a parting shot by Obama is all it was, much to the chagrin of the Trump camp. And Donald Trump, by the way, has made no bones about Manning or Bergdahl, about how he feels. And as the commander-in-chief of the United States military, that I think that he should expect the service members of the military to live up to a certain standard. Not the least of which is you don't disclose classified information to fucking WikiLeaks. Welcome back, Mud Puppy. I hear you vaping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Robert, I'm going to talk about the transabled thing in a minute. It's
Well,
something
with the whole
else.
Bergdahl thing, what I just want to know is my mind in left field. Who does his urinalysis?
Bergdahl? Probably the same person that does everybody else's urinalysis.
Not
for you.
Bergdahl.
Oh, Manning?
Manning.
I don't know.
Who does Manning's piss test?
Then I don't know. It's a good question.
Who?
Does Manning still have, like, oh shit, I unplugged my headphones. Hold on, let me unfuck this. Okay, now I can hear you guys again. Does Manning still have chick parts and dude parts both, or if he, I guess, if she, Chelsea, identifies as female and is classified as a female, then I guess it's a female that does the urinalysis. I don't know. Why are you trying to come in here with these difficult questions?
It's because I spent Saturday with Minx and all those questions.
Never mind.
She's done tainted me, boss.
Manning's lawyer, Chase Strangio, added in the ACLU statement that Manning had been abused at Leavenworth, but not specifying the type of abuse. Now, abuse, I think, in a case like this is subjective or objective. I'm sorry. In other words, what may be abuse to one person doesn't necessarily constitute abuse in the eyes of another. If you are in a prison setting, such as Manning, and decide that you need to change genders because you feel like a woman, and that is denied, I don't necessarily agree that that's abuse, because while you may have a valid psychological diagnosis of gender dysphoria, I don't feel like, in the interests of safety and security of the institution in which you're incarcerated, and furthermore, the expenditure of my tax dollars warrants a refusal to allow you to transition from one gender to another does not warrant abuse. That's the way I feel about it. So, if Manning was kept in a segregation type environment, solitary confinement, which I don't know, she was, because of the suicide attempts and the hunger strike and all that, again, that falls in line with the policies and procedures in place in the institution in which she was incarcerated, not abuse. Abuse would be physical abuse,
waterboarding,
outright emotional abuse, the withholding, the withholding of food and sustenance, and the denial to access certain things that other inmates are allowed to access. This motherfucker is posting shit on Twitter, over the phone, tweet this, tweet that. How abused could you possibly have been? You want to talk about abuse? Look at what's happening in certain VA hospitals across the country with veterans who served honorably, served their country with honor, and then are left to die in the VAs. And I'm not saying that all the VAs are bad, but it happens, and you've seen it in the headlines just as I have. Or these guys that can't get the medical care they need, they go out in the parking lot at the VA and shoot themselves. Get over yourself, Manning. Your life's not as fucked up as you think it is. I'm talking too much, not drinking enough coffee. My coffee's starting to get cold.
Ugh. Cold coffee is the worst.
I feel like I should go back to beer. At least I don't have to worry about my beer getting cold.
So warm.
It's the opposite.
Don't do it, boss. Stay on the wagon.
Trump. Wait a second. I'm one paragraph too far ahead. Like far too many people in prison, particularly transgender women, Chelsea Manning has had to survive unthinkable violence throughout the 7 years of her incarceration, said her attorney. Violence at the hands of whom? Because when you say abuse, the thing that immediately pops into my mind is abuse by the custodial staff, the guards, the people who are charged with running the institution. Abuse by other inmates, I guess technically is abuse, but not in the context that the ACLU and Manning's attorney would have us believe. So, abuse is abuse, but clarify it. And I think that they did partially. Trump, in his first days in office, blasted Obama's decision to release Manning from prison early, and Manning for criticizing the former president. Manning had written a column saying Obama had failed to live up to his promises. But then Obama let you out because Obama felt bad for you. I don't feel bad for you. Manning, Bradley, Chelsea, I don't feel bad for you at all. You betrayed the trust of your brothers and sisters in arms. You betrayed the trust of your unit. You betrayed the trust of the United States Army, and you betrayed the trust of the people of the United States. You were entrusted with secret, classified documents, and you released thousands of them. I feel no sympathy for you whatsoever. Okay? You dodged a bullet by being released from prison as early as you have. You weren't even eligible for parole for 6 more years, and the outgoing president in the final parting shot commuted your sentence. You might want to shut the fuck up and count your blessings and stop making an ass of yourself. I need another drink of coffee.
I was just kind of hoping, like, once this all came out and that Manning was released, that we wouldn't hear anything else about him. But I guess we're wrong. And we're probably going to continue to hear about him until...
Well, Manning gets to go to the commissary. That's what this news is.
Oh, he gets to be a dependa.
Ungrateful traitor Chelsea Manning, who should never have been released from prison, is now calling President Obama a weak leader. Terrible. You remember when Trump tweeted that? Trump loves the Twitter. While in prison, Manning had received hormone treatment and care for gender dysphoria. She'd also been informed that she was eligible for sex reassignment surgery to be paid for by the government. However, if the appeal of her conviction is denied, she could be dishonorably discharged, which mandates a loss of benefits, including health care. So that'll be the next chapter. Because we already know this appeal is going nowhere. Think for a moment, if you can, about the merits of the case. Remove from your mind the fact that Bradley Manning turned into Chelsea Manning and whipped up this media frenzy. Look at the merits of the case. Is anyone disputing that classified information was released by this person? No. So you're going to appeal based on what? Tell me what procedural technicality this case is going to be overturned on. There is none. Do you think that the prosecutor and the court in this case knew this was going to be high profile? Of course they did. Do you think that they didn't cross their T's and dot their I's? You better believe they did. So it's going nowhere in appeal. Ultimately, Manning will be dishonorably discharged and lose access to health care. And then, what boobs you've managed to grow will shrivel, and, your voice will deepen and your facial hair will return unless, you can go to get a job. Write a book. Hit the circuit, signing books, do a book tour to pay for your estrogen and other hormones. I feel no sympathy for this dude at all. None.
No.
And my problem does not lie with transgendered persons at all. But stop, number one, Manning, pushing your fucking agenda down my throat. And number two, stop taking money out of my pocket for your sex reassignment surgery and your hormone therapy. It's not fair to the American taxpayer. I don't know how that happened. Thanks, Obama. It's easy to blame that dude, right?
Yeah. Now that he's gone, I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. I mean, we've done it. If you really look back in history, we've always blamed the prior president for a lot of things that's happened.
Manning's fight for treatment in military prison made her a cause among transgender advocates. She announced a change in her name and announced, "I am a female," in a statement read on our behalf in 2013 on national television. Efforts to boost transgender rights culminated last summer in the Pentagon's decision to rescind the ban on service for troops who identified as the opposite gender. In the months that followed, more than 100 troops came forward requesting treatment for gender dysphoria, Estimates show there are as many as 6,000 transgender troops among the 1.3 million active duty service members. Manning, who has a Twitter account managed by her supporters, said she was looking forward to her release, celebrating a new hope and a return of the sun. Isn't that quaint? Go fuck yourself. Next story. Unless you guys have something else to put in that. Go ahead. Fire your shots if necessary. And then
I was
and then
going
we'll
to
move on.
say them picking Manning to be like their poster boy for the transgender community is kind of fucked up. That's like everybody picking Hillary Clinton to be their, poster girl to be the first female president. To me, Hillary Clinton is, if she, was ever to be female president, is a fucking insult to women everywhere.
It's this. You're right. I mean, what better person to be the poster child for transgendered people nationwide? I'm curious. I'm honestly curious to hear what other transgendered persons have to say about Chelsea Manning. Not necessarily about the transgender issue, but just as a person and as a service member who betrayed the trust of so many people by disclosing classified documents. So I really want to hear the opinion of some other transgendered people about Manning.
I would like to hear it from another transgender person who is, serving in the military, who really can't just freely hey, I want to be a chick now, because they can't do that.
The two things in my mind, honorable service and being transgendered, or they don't. The one doesn't have anything to do with the other. My issue is, again, for the final time, because everybody's tired of hearing me talk about it, is that Manning is a traitor to her country and used that weird, twisted celebrity status to draw attention to the fact that he wanted to transition from male to female, and made such a big deal out of it that finally the government said, okay, you know what? In an effort to shut you up, we're gonna do this. That's what I take issue with, because that's what happened.
I would have been like, fucking starve.
I'm going on a hunger strike until I get my. I'm going on a hunger strike until I get my my hormone treatment. Okay,
that's what I would have said.
Okay, because at the point that at a certain point they'll put a fucking feeding tube in you, Manning. You fucking crybaby. You don't do the crime if you can't do the time. There's an interesting article, and I don't, guys, forgive me, please. You may have to do some Google searching for it, but there is an article which was written by someone who served with Manning, who went through basic training with Manning, and blasted Manning in this article, talking about what a bitch he was, talking about how what a crybaby he was, and how he refused to be a team player, and it was all about him, and what a pussy he was. And it's a good read. It kind of gives you a little insight into pre-traitor Manning, and I think it was a harbinger for things to come. Had I think had they known that this little dickweed was going to disclose all his classified information and then make a big stink in the wake of his conviction, they might have not helped him through basic training. Because how many people have you known personally that completely wash out of basic and never to be seen again? It doesn't happen. It's unheard of. By the time you get to basic, the Army's already invested enough money in you for it to be in their interest to keep you. You got to be a real piece of shit to not even make it through basic combat. Basic, what is it called now? IET, initial entry training, or some shit?
I don't know.
Yeah, me either. I'll look it up.
The whole thing's bullshit. With the Manning thing, and we've burned through 32 minutes of airtime with it. Which
it's BCT, basic combat training.
Basic combat training. Thank you, Manning. I follow on my personal Facebook account. I follow 1st Battalion, Delta Battery, 1st Battalion, 31st Field Artillery, which is the unit I did my basic with back in 1994. And it's funny to look at it now compared to how it was then. And I mean, I get it's not the same fucking people because it was 23 years ago, but it's still fun to go, watch all these new privates. Speaking of which, doesn't Tater ship off in a couple of months? Next month?
Actually, yes.
So Tater ships off. We've got to find. Well, I don't say we've got to find. When we find out, because we're going to find out what unit he's with, maybe we'll start a little letter writing campaign for the kid.
Oh, I was thinking a box of dicks, but okay.
Oh, we'll have to send some things to his platoon sergeant, his drill sergeant. That'll be fun. Because it'll be easy. We know he's going to Fort Sill because he's going to be a 14 Tango, which he has convinced himself that that's an artillery MOS, and it's not. For those of you who are 14 series, you're not artillery. I hate to break it to you.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that. But so we'll find out what unit Tater's going to, and then we'll send Tater some things in the mail. What just happened with Facebook? Am I still on the air? Or they get shut down for being hateful towards Manning?
Don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's working on my end.
Okay, good. Oh, by the way, if you're in and you're thinking about getting out, hold up. Wait a minute. Less than a week after the Army released its latest selective retention bonuses, the service has sweetened the deal with more money across the board. Every soldier who is eligible for a bonus as of May 24th is having their pay tier bumped up, according to the Army's Retention Operations Office. For example, as of the May 10th bonus update, a regular infantry sergeant was eligible for between $2,600 and $7,800 Daira, plus the $13,000 kicker for those with ETS dates in fiscal year 2017. Now, that amount has been bumped up to between $3,700 and $11,200 Daira. The Army's been making regular changes to retention bonuses all year in an effort to keep 9,000 more soldiers than it had planned for this fiscal year. Because if you remember, outgoing President Obama wanted to downsize the military, and one of the first things D. Treasy did when he came into office was to say, hold up, let's turn this car around. Big bucks for extending contracts has given way to more opportunities and incentives to re-enlist. Senior Army Counselor Sergeant Major Mark Thompson told the Army Times on May 9th, if you have an ETS date through the end of September, check with your career counselor about your options to extend or re-enlist. Complete details on every bonus available are available in the MilPer message released today. So, might want to reconsider. Look, $13,000. It'd be a sweet down payment on one of those 26.5% APR cars that they got out there in a used car lot right outside the gate. So pick one up now.
It'll be either a Camaro or a Charger or a Challenger.
Yep, they're all out there. Go get you one. Just, only been wrecked once. Check that Carfax. I guess the Sergeant Major of the Army is pushing to bring back a vintage uniform. Do you guys see this?
Yeah, bringing back the pinks.
Pinks and greens.
Yes.
The Army's top enlisted soldiers heading to the next uniform board meeting, armed with the results of an exclusive Army Times survey to make the case for bringing back an iconic World War II era uniform for everyday business wear. This thing kind of got mixed reviews, this article did. Some people are like, Jesus Christ, do we need another uniform and or another uniform change and or another trip to clothing sales to buy another fucking uniform and accessories? And some people are like, hell yes, we need a different uniform. I think the idea is to have something that is not considered formal wear and something that is not considered a utility type uniform, something that falls in between. Now, who the fuck's wearing these things? I don't know, because the ideal candidate for this would be people who work in, let's say, division finance or something like that. You're not going to wear these motherfuckers to the motor pool. That's a given. But they're also not going to be considered formal wear, although that's what the ASU is supposed to be. But it just doesn't seem very formal to me, dude. Something is I never wore the Army service uniform. I had Class A's, which also I don't consider to be formal. Something is missing from the ASU to make it a formal type uniform. With the Marine Corps, there's no doubt, right? Their dress uniform is obviously, quote, formal wear. And then they have all these other uniforms in between and combinations thereof. They have a Class A uniform. It's, the green pants and the green jacket over a khaki shirt with a khaki tie. They call those alphas. They have Bravos, they have Charlies, they have fucking all kinds of shit. The Army, what do you got? You got the fucking the Army combat uniform. Then you have the Army service uniform with or without the jacket. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
It was like that when we had the greens, too. I mean, A's and B's.
Right. Yeah, same difference. You take the jacket off. B's with or without decorations, blah blah blah. I think I wore my Class A's when I graduated from OSUT, and then again when I got married the first time, and then once in an inspection. So less than once a year.
Oh yeah, no, I had to wear mine all the time. It seemed like.
And mine are still hanging in my closet, believe it or not.
I'm looking at my greens. I don't know where my blues are.
I never had any. But now the Army has I don't know if they still have it. I see the tomb guards and those dudes wearing what looks like a dressier version of the ASU. That's the dress blues that I know. I knew.
Yeah.
Which is
they wear the
that's,
blues.
That's a good looking uniform with the belt on the outside and everything.
Yeah.
What's missing from the ASU? Why does the ASU look kind of raggedy and sloppy to me? What is it? I can't put my finger on it. Is it the fact that it's that coat? It seems like it needs a belt. I don't know, man. And then why do you wear? What the fucking? You used to wear your combat patch on your shoulder, and now it's on a pocket somewhere. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's going on? I missed all of that.
What is it?
Don't even know what it's called.
Right pocket.
Yeah, it's a right pocket on the coat, and it has some weird name for it, some insignia, blah 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 name for it. I can't. Maybe it's because the majority of the ASUs that I've seen people wear are not tailored to fit their bodies. It looks bad. It looks kind of sloppy. I don't know, dude.
I think that's what it is that it's the lack of tailoring. Because I know Marines, I have a lot of buddies that were Marines. My best friend that I lost, he was a Marine, and he said that they have to go to the tailor as soon as they get their uniforms, and all the uniforms are tailored right out of basic training.
Yeah. As well,
or
they
boot
should
camp.
Be. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't go buy a fucking suit off the rack and then just put it on and wear it around. It looks ridiculous. You got to get that thing tailored to your particular dimensions. So something about the ASU, man. Everybody, well, not everybody, the majority of the people I've seen wearing that look like they're being swallowed, eaten alive by that uniform. And surely that's not the way that thing's supposed to fit.
I think that's what it is that it's the lack of tailoring. Because I know the tomb guards, I mean, you've seen the pictures. I've been there. And I've been down under. And I even talking to them, all of their uniforms are strictly tailored to them.
Yeah. There are, by the way, if you guys have not seen and would like to go learn more about the Sentinels at the Tomb of the Unknowns, there are a couple of different documentaries on YouTube that you could watch. Those dudes put a lot of time and work into, I mean, just the uniform aspect every fucking day. Not to mention all the other stuff that they're involved in. So it's a good watch if you're into that kind of stuff. Not everybody is, but
yeah, I mean,
I enjoy
they
it.
put hours and hours every day into their uniform. As soon as they come off of the tomb, after the changing of the guard and everything else, they're right back working on their uniform, re-straightening it up, repressing it. They have all the presses down there. They press all their own stuff.
Yeah, the guys that are, I guess, sort of apprentices in training to be tomb guards are the ones who do a lot of the uniform stuff. But ultimately, each one of these guys is responsible for their own uniforms, and they don't fuck around. That tomb's been continuously guarded for many, and when I say continuously guarded, with no break at all. There's somebody out there 24/7. Weather be damned.
Yeah, I think they came down once because I think it was the hurricane that was going to directly hit DC, and they were like, okay, we have to think of life limb eyesight type of deal.
No, they were still out there.
Really?
Yep, they sure were. No interruption.
Wow.
Google search initiate, if you'd like.
You know me too well.
So anyway, let's get back. Let's get back while we still have 15, 17 minutes. About this, there's a big push to bring this uniform back. This kind of middle of the road, not quite utility uniform, not quite dress uniform. About 77% of the people who responded, they sent the Army Times emailed a survey to 28,000 active duty Army Times subscribers, and about 5,000 people responded. Of that 5,000, roughly 77% of them who are all on active duty said that they would like the World War II uniform to be brought back. In addition, 72% said they would like the uniform to come back as an optional item, and almost 59% said they preferred over the ASU worn today. So, in keeping with his tradition as a sergeant major of the Army who has got his ear to the ground and listening to what the soldiers say, he's going to go before this board, and it's got to go before the Army Chief of Staff, General Milley, and acting Army Secretary Bob Spear for final approval. And it's going to involve a change to the clothing bag and therefore an update to the clothing allowance. And evidently, the Sergeant Major of the Army and the Chief of Staff have discussed the move before. And according to Sergeant Major of the Army, Dan Daly, he says that General Milley is an advocate. So it could happen. Everybody stay tuned for another uniform. Oh, my God. There were 0 changes to the uniform in my short tenure in the Army, thankfully. I know guys right now who have gone through BDUs, and then when they deployed DCUs, the ASU, this OCP pattern stuff, the green Class A's to the ASU, and kind of makes it hard to focus on the task at hand, war fighting. But, there's a lot of tradition behind that uniform, and I can understand some people's attachment to it. And if you want to look like, General of the Army Dwight Eisenhower and wear that, more power to you.
Yo, that jacket is pretty slick.
I think my dog's trying to run away.
The one dog that has the easiest life.
Yeah, well, hopefully if she runs away, she never comes back. I'm sick of this dog.
You don't mean that.
I'm sick of garbage dog. Garbage dog's making my nerves bad.
She needs a brother or sister.
Yeah, you shut up. Wrong person here is that, and I'll have another dog in the house. I'm all good. I'm all good on dogs. I'm full up. We're overpopulated in the Casa de Redleg as it is. There's one being too many in here. So either the dog goes or the wife goes.
Oh, that's a tough decision.
No, it's not. I got to get rid of the dog. Kind of partial to the wife. I'm trying to find something here to round out this last few minutes before we go into the break. How about, oh, God. So many news articles. Oh, Ebola's back.
Oh, I saw that.
A new Ebola epidemic's been declared in the Democratic Republic of Congo after the deaths of 3 people thought to be linked to the virus. The country's health ministry confirmed 1 person has tested positive for the virus. The World Health Organization confirmed that the Democratic Republic of the Congo had informed them of a lab-confirmed case of the disease. The case was confirmed from tests on 9 people who came down with a hemorrhagic fever in the northeast of the country on or after April 22nd. A spokesman said, the case is in a very remote zone, very forested, so we're a little lucky. We always take this very seriously. The disease was first identified in 1976, which, for those of you keeping score at home, was 41 years ago. Largest outbreak has been the recent. Oh my God! The largest outbreak has been the recent epidemic in West Africa from December 2013 to January 2016, which killed more than 11,000 people. In 2014, a 3-month outbreak of Ebola in the Congo killed 49 people. It was declared no longer an emergency in March 2016. The disease has a 90% fatality rate to date, but the World Health Organization recently developed an experimental vaccine that can be used in emergencies. What is wrong with the dog?
She died on the ditch.
Come here, stupid.
She probably had some poison or something.
Dumbass. You guys hear my dog sneezing? Woohoo! Get your ass away from me. Get out of here. Stupid dog. She's got snot all over the side of her face. All that sneezing. She got outside and got into something.
At least it wasn't a skunk.
She stinks, too. She was chasing what? Oh, chasing geese. All right, go out there and take the shotgun outside and kill the geese. Or the dog.
Aha, I found our answer to the tomb.
Okay.
When it rains, the guard stands under a green nylon tent that's used for laying ceremonies to shield him from inclement weather. As winds start to pick up during that hurricane, they move over into their, which is known as the memorial display room, essentially a marble enclosure that holds plaques and other honoraria dedicated to the unknown soldiers. From there, the guard will have a continual line of sight on the tomb.
Right.
So that's what those little green buildings on the side are.
So
if you've ever been down there.
I mean, they're out there where they could see the tomb.
Yep.
My dog is an idiot. Jesus. Anybody want a dog? I mean, she's pretty sweet, kind of stupid. Smells kind of bad. Has separation anxiety. Free to good home. Come get her. All you got to do is come pick her up. I'll give you all the crap that goes with her. The kennel, the food, all the accessories. Just come get her. Yeah, Devin, we talked about the Somalians in Minnesota who have the measles because they won't vaccinate their children. Didn't I talk about this last Monday?
Yep.
The idiots who won't vaccinate their children because Jenny McCarthy said that it's linked to autism.
Yeah.
Because she's a scientist.
Okay.
Right, yeah, because she's if you should be taking advice from anyone,
it's some dumb blonde-headed bimbo.
It's somebody who's famous for being in Playboy back in the 90s. So good job, everybody. On listen, your irresponsibility, your refusal to vaccinate your kids is putting the public at large at risk of a disease that should have been eradicated already. The fucking measles. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, don't let your kid be patient zero.
Shiloh wants to know what kind of dog I've got. She is a smooth coat border collie. She's black and white. She looks like a border collie but with shorter hair. She's a complete idiot. Come get her. Come on over. Pick her up. Be sure you're in a vehicle large enough to take all this other crap with you when you go. Oh, did I tell you guys I finally heard something from the insurance company?
Oh.
Yeah, well, wonders never cease. They're giving me way more money than these repairs are worth, so that's a plus. But after waiting for tomorrow will be 17 days, I feel like I did pretty good.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the storm blew through here over 2 weeks ago.
Holy smokes, yeah, it has, hasn't it?
Fucked up the Casa de Redleg, and it's been that way ever since. The reason Mrs. Redleg was freaking out just now is because the fence that used to be standing in my backyard is now lying in the backyard, and there are geese. There's nothing behind my house. There's a giant like swamp back there, and there's geese that live there year round. And Garbage Dog decided to go play with the geese.
Ooh.
And got into something out there and is now sneezing furiously. And there's snot everywhere. Hopefully contained to one part of the house. Oh my God. This fucking dog. This is why I don't have more children. I'm terrible at being responsible for another living being. I have one child, recently graduated from high school. And that's it. She can take care of herself. The fucking dog, I gotta constantly open the door and let the dog out. Open the door and let the dog back in because the dog doesn't have any fucking thumbs and can't turn the doorknob. And
Now you can get those electronic doggy doors that you just throw it on Garbage Dog's collar and it opens and closes whenever he goes up to it.
Is there any way that I can program it to only let the dog out of the house and never let it come back in? Because that's the ideal situation here. Dog goes out, dog never comes back in.
I mean, once you get your fence fixed, just kick Garbage Dog out in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm not taking my dog to the shelter. Listen, I'm not going to get rid of my dog. Everybody settle down. I'm joking. Take her to the shelter. I'm not getting rid of my dog. Everybody relax. And I'm not shooting the geese. I can't shoot. I'm in city limits.
Oh, darn. I was going to say you could have dinner.
I
Crossbow.
can't shoot. No, play that, and I don't have a hunting license. They can't just be killing geese, and they're not in season right now. I'm pretty sure the game warden lives around here close, and ship her to Colorado. All right, Shiloh, I tell you what. You pay for the shipping. You can have the dog. Get rid of you. I'll get rid of the dog. 17 days for homeowner's insurance claim. That's fairly quick. It's not quick enough for me. The fucking insurance. Listen, I don't think you guys understand the magnitude of this, those of you who are unaware. If there's a hole in the roof of my house, I need that fixed.
If it rains, he's screwed.
If you look, all right, let me describe to you how this hole is. If you look down through the hole, you're looking into the wall, all right? On one side imagine you're looking in between the interior and exterior wall of the house. This is sheetrock, this is plywood. You look down, you can see insulation and studs and everything. Coming from the interior wall is the back of the breaker panel where all the power to the home is distributed from. That's because it's sticking out of the drywall portion, the interior part of the wall. On the other side, the exterior wall, directly adjacent to it, is the back of the electrical meter. That's what you see when you look down into this hole. So,
oh shit! It was right at your box.
So if it rains into this hole and shorts it out and catches my house on fire and burns my fucking house to the ground and kills Garbage Dog, now the insurance company's out way more money than they would have been if they had just fucking taken care of this sooner. The house has got to have a whole new roof. I have a roofer coming Monday, a week from today. Because I had him lined up, and I kept having to push him back and tell him, well, hold on, I got to wait and see what the insurance company's going to do. So now he can't come until Monday, so I got to have a whole new roof. The fence in the back that Garbage Dog just escaped out of, she never would have done that if I'd been out there, by the way. Mrs. Redleg's not as authoritative as I am with her voice. Of course, she's also, barely 5 feet and 1 inch tall and soft-spoken, but the fence has got to be rebuilt. All right, there's all kinds of other damage to the house that I'm not going to go into details on, but fucking it took them long enough. Jeez. I'm sick of dealing with it. Finally, all day I tried to call Miguel Medina because I was talking to a dude named Kyle, and then I got a text message that said that Miguel has been assigned to my case. You know how many times I talked to Miguel today? 0. I couldn't get a hold of his fucking ass. I ended up going online in a live chat with some chick. What was her name? Kirsten. Thank you. She answered my questions in 3 minutes.
Becky with the good hair.
Now I know how much money I'm getting, and I can get on with the getting on repairing my home. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it took that long.
Hey, we still got people down here that's waiting on insurance from the hurricane that have been living in a hotel.
Just my fucking luck. By the way, guys, there's a temporary repair. I didn't just leave it wide open to the elements. I feel like I should have mentioned that. No, it's covered. The hole's covered. I mean, it's there. It's covered up, though. What was I going to say? I forgot. Doesn't matter. It's break time. We're going to take a break. And we come back from this break, we're going to have tonight's guest on from Functional Veterans. Bone is going to join us to talk about his organization. And tell a friend. A little bit later in the game, a little bit later in the show, we'll be doing party games. As per usual for my shows anymore. You guys remember when I used to talk for 3 hours? Now you get to eat up that last hour with games. I still do some talking, but I don't have to do any thinking, which is nice. When your brain's in the shape mine's in. Don't go anywhere, everybody. More of the Monday edition right after this. Right after this. There it goes. Jesus Christ.
Hey, this is Eric Stolhansky, otherwise known as Rabbit from Super Troopers, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, people of the world. We're back. Garbage dog's okay. She got everything sneezed out. She did not get attacked by geese or get run over by a car. She's back inside. And she stinks. This is the Monday edition on WTF Nation Radio. Hey, how's it going?
Hey-o.
I'm Redleg, and tonight's special guest co-host is Mud Peppy. Mom's here, and tonight's guest from Functional Veterans, Bone, has joined us. Bone, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
What goes on over at Functional Veterans? You guys being all functional and stuff? I love it.
We are trying. No one said normal, dysfunctional. Yeah, we're just trying to shed light on all the positive things that veterans are doing out there in the world today. There's so much negative light that's shed on our community. You look at entrepreneurs, the civil servants, doctors, lawyers, people who've all served in the military in different capacities, doing great things. And pretty much all you see on social media nowadays, as a general rule, especially from the civilian side, is kind of this image that we're broken and that we're a liability, to hire us because we're all PTSD'd out, or however you want to put it. And we started this about 2 years ago, and we're just trying to highlight the good things that people are doing from the veteran community, not the problems.
How did this let's call it a stereotype. How did this stereotype that somehow all these returning combat veterans and even those, because even the people that didn't deploy have gotten lumped into this the stereotype that somehow all veterans are constantly on the brink of going nuts and shooting places up, and that in the most extreme cases, this is the kind of stuff that people believe, that we're unstable and that we're a danger to ourselves and others. And how did this get a start in our culture today? Where did this come from?
I think, honestly, and obviously I'm not an expert on this, but my opinion on it is that it's kind of our own doing to a point. And then, you throw, because we have a very, obviously, dark sense of humor. We have our own brand of humor. And I think with the advent of social media and us sharing our personality out there, it's misunderstood. I think that's how it started. And then some people have really clung to that. I guess it's kind of the same mentality as maybe the emo kids in school. I don't know. But I think it's kind of, you get a lot of attention when you act, crazy, I think. So I think it attracts people that, they like that, that kind of outsider, rebel without a cause, type persona.
I see this a lot in the news media. Veteran with PTSD. Insert headline here: veteran commits suicide in the parking lot of the VA hospital. Veteran this, veteran that. Veteran, beats his wife and kids. And if the person's not a veteran, it's just another news story. But then somehow, if they dig deep enough and find out that this guy served in the Army or any branch of the service in whatever capacity, whether he or she deployed or not, they automatically attach that veteran title to the beginning of the whole litany of things that this veteran has done that's bad or dangerous. And so I like to borrow a term from Jamal Abbey from oh my God, of fucking Project Overwatch.
Project Overwatch.
He said it's a self-licking ice cream cone. and it is. It's this thing is perpetuating itself, and it's getting a good kick in the ass by some of us to whom the label's being applied. Some people are embracing this. You know, these veterans are all dangerous and unstable. And I mean, why the fuck would you, as a sane person, embrace that?
Well, I can tell you when we started the Facebook page, there was an incident that happened. I live right outside of Fort Campbell, so obviously a huge active duty and veteran community here. And me and my wife were at a store, and there's this gentleman who's obviously a veteran, large beard. He was wearing a shirt. Well, first of all, he was open carrying a sidearm, which I am a huge proponent of, huge fan of the Second Amendment, support it completely. That's not the issue here, but he's carrying a gun. And he's wearing a shirt that says "Medicated for your protection, stay back 100 meters." And me and my wife looked at each other, because my wife's also a veteran. She served at the 101st as well. And we looked at each other, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And she was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, right.
And so we came home, and we had a 2-hour discussion about it, probably. And she was like, "There has to be a counterpoint to this, because if that's how they choose to be viewed, you know, it's a free country. They deserve that, you know." And I don't say anything negative about other organizations that portray veterans in that light. If that's how people choose to be viewed, that's their choice. But for me, she was like, "I don't want to be lumped in with that, that sort of persona." Right. I was like, "Absolutely." She's like, "Well, let's just try starting something that's a counterpoint, you know, so people can see there's other stuff. So we started it, and it just started on social media. We started sharing. There's so many great things that happen. And I mean, you guys are obviously on social media, you see it. But that was the incident where it was kind of a breaking point where we're like, we need to do something that shows, and it's mostly civilians and, well, I guess it's veterans too, that they have that idea about themselves. Like they're kind of lumped in with that. And we should be focusing on the positive things that are going on and not just the fact that we served. And I think a lot of veterans out there have this idea that they kind of peaked, like they hit the pinnacle of their life was serving in the military. And while it is commendable and it is, you know, we're the part of the less than 1% that serves, I think we should go on to do better things than just serving in the military. And I think there's a huge a glass ceiling that people see as, you know, I was a sergeant in the Army, and I went to Iraq, and I kind of peaked, and now I'm just going to kind of get along and get by. Where we should be saying, all right, I learned amazing things. I learned leadership skills. I learned coping skills. I learned, you know, I was trained to handle stress. What can I use those for in the next part of my life to excel past what I did before?
That's a good point. That a lot of people, a lot of veterans feel like that was the pinnacle of their lives was their time in the military. But there's so much. Even if you do 20 years and retire, if you go in at 18 or 19 or 20 years old and you do 20 years, man, you still got a whole lot of life left ahead of you and an opportunity to pursue other things at another career. Do you really want to drag around the baggage that is the public perception of you as somehow being broken and dysfunctional and incapable of making it in a setting outside of the military? It's one thing to be proud of your military service. I'm extremely proud of what I did in the very brief time that I was in the military. 4 years is not a long time. It's something I volunteered for. It was something I was pretty good at. I enjoyed it. When my hitch was up, I decided not to re-enlist. I moved on to other things. It's a point of pride in my life that I served in the United States Army. It is not, however, the defining moment of my life. It is just a chapter in the book that is my life. We've read that chapter. Let's continue to write more. And I don't want people, if people find out that I was in the military, and it's no secret among all of us, the listening audience, but the last thing I want people to think of when they hear my name in Army is psychopath or PTSD or damaged or liability or violent. I don't want those things associated with my name. Now, they may be true, but I don't want people to perceive me that way. Some of that might be true.
Well, and that goes to knowing your audience. If you're talking with other veterans, and obviously, like I spoke about earlier, the dark sense of humor, our own brand of humor, I mean, that's prevalent and that's good because it maintains that brother and sisterhood that we had when we were in. But that doesn't mean that you need to go to the local bar and tell jokes, the sick jokes that we tell to each other as veterans or when we're in active duty. You don't need to be telling that to just John Q. Public because he's going to have that, like, oh, my God moment. Like, I need to get away from this person.
Yeah, because
it's judgment.
Napalm sticks to kids is not funny to everybody. It takes a certain kind of person to get that. Am I right?
Absolutely, yeah. You know your audience. So it's just like don't tell dirty jokes around kids.
Yeah, don't perpetuate that. Don't perpetuate that stereotype. Be it's okay to be proud of your military service, and in certain settings, like you said, let's tell the fucking I jacked off in a 120-degree porta shitter in Kuwait jokes, but save that shit for when you're with your buddies. Don't go out in public and make a whole routine of it to where people are like, oh my God, this fucking guy. Let's go, honey. Let's go. Check, please. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy.
We should. Absolutely. And that just comes down to exercising good judgment and knowing your audience.
And before people start attacking us, me, because it's happened, saying that I'm going after dysfunctional veterans. The group Dysfunctional Veterans, DV. You see them everywhere on the internet and other places. Nothing could be further from the truth. I know the folks over there, and they do a lot of good things for this community. I choose not to subscribe to... That's not my thing, man. I don't want people viewing me that way. It's a choice that I'm making. I'm not attacking an organization, and I don't feel like Bone. I don't feel like you are either. In fact, you stated the exact opposite without specifically naming the organization. That's not it's not what's going on here.
Absolutely not. I've been trolled close to 500 times probably since I started the page by people from that group, and I've had very good discussions with these people. I've had a lot of trolls come on and post stuff, and they're very angry with some of our opinions. Been called a pogue bitch. You obviously never saw combat because you have this page, things like that. And what I do is I don't get into the childish dick measuring contest. But I just explain my point of view. And I said, listen, I'm not attacking your point of view because this is what we fought for when we were in and what you shed blood for or shed tears and lost brothers and sisters for. You have that right. And I'm not attacking that right. I've never engaged in any sort of social media campaigns like some people have, not that group in particular, against us, because that's not what we're about. We're about bringing unity and highlighting the good things. And I don't care what the name of the organization is. If they're doing good things, then that's what we want. By no means are we saying that if someone chooses to be labeled as this, they're wrong, because they may look at us as wrong. So what we want to do is just promote the veteran community. If you're doing good things, if you're being a productive member of society, if you're helping other veterans or civilians or whatever, that's what we're about. So it's not about a social media war, name calling, and all that stuff. It's just about helping the veteran community. That's what we're about.
Amen. And I think ultimately the majority of everybody that's in the veteran community would like nothing more than to see their brothers and sisters succeed. Now there's going to be a few bad apples in every bunch. Always. Anywhere you go, in any community, in any organization, anywhere, there's going to be some people. And the unfortunate thing is they tend to draw attention to themselves, and they tend to make a lot of noise. And but at the end of the day, they have nothing to offer those select few people. Like you said, you've been called a bitch. You've been called a pogue. These are things that nobody, I can almost with 100% certainty guarantee that these people would never dream of saying those things to your face.
Yep.
But they I don't know if it's some goofy shtick that they're doing on the internet, if it's some if they're lacking some sort of identity, and this is how they choose to identify themselves, and it's not limited to our community, and it's not limited to any one group or another. Anywhere you go on the internet, you're going to encounter people who are, total badasses behind the keyboard. You get them out in a setting to engage them face to face, and they clam up. They have nothing of substance to say, and it happened to me today. Completely unrelated. The person with whom I was speaking is not a veteran, doesn't know I'm a veteran. We were speaking about something completely unrelated to the veteran community or military. Then the dude called me a bitch, something he likely would never dream of saying to my face, but it's easy to do behind the keyboard.
Absolutely.
I just laugh it off. I know I'm not a bitch.
Yeah,
Good enough for me.
When I've been called that stuff, I just laugh. I was a grunt for 9 years. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart, the work. So I was just like, and I didn't engage in that portion of the conversation. I said, listen, and I told him my viewpoint. And actually, once he calmed down and, like you said, that keyboard warrior mentality kind of died down, because I think it was probably an emotional response, and he wanted to engage real quick and get his opinion out there, which is fine. But once I got talking to him and he saw my point of view, he was like, okay, I get what you're saying now. That's pretty cool. Because, like you said, it's very easy. If someone's not right in front of you, it's very easy to type, like you said, some totally badass some script and just hit send, and then it's gone, and there's no consequences for it.
Right. Because they don't know you. You don't have access to them, right? Somebody calls you, if another man calls you a bitch, you kind of have, I'm talking about in a face-to-face setting, you kind of, your options are limited. Number one, you can show the dude you're not a bitch. Number two, you can tell the dude you're not a bitch. Number three, you can just ignore it and hope it goes away. I don't think any one of those is any less acceptable than the other given the circumstances, but it's easy to call somebody a bitch on the internet when they don't, if they're not in striking distance, so to speak. Then what are they going to do? So you got these dudes running around calling people bitch with impunity on the internet because it's the internet. But what they don't know about you, Bone, is the things that you just mentioned. Combat veteran, combat wounded, honorable service. A lot of them have walked the same path until they hit that fork in the road, and where you choose to move forward and continue on and be a functional, contributing member to society. Some other people want to dwell in that one particular moment in their life where they were a combat veteran and allow that to define them and nothing more. And there's nothing wrong with being proud of your service, but don't be a fucking asshole with that sense of entitlement. I'm a combat veteran. Everybody kiss my ass. Why? You volunteered to go do this.
Absolutely right. Like I've seen that a lot. Is just kind of this poor me, poor my. I served and I went to Iraq or Afghanistan. Insert deployment here, And some people I deployed to Iraq 5 times, and no one held a gun to your head and made you sign. So we have to take responsibility as adults at some point for decisions we've made, especially when you've got 2 or 3 re-enlistments. That's kind of that was your decision. That was something you did on your own, and for money or whatever, just continuing a career. I don't owe you anything for that. No one does. Like, that's a decision you made, and you just got to move forward and keep on keeping on. You can't dwell in the past. And I think that's a lot of the issues now, is that that feeling that they peaked and they just can't move on.
People ask me, a lot of people ask me how I got involved in this radio game, why I do this, what led me to this, and I have a lot of love for this community, and I wanted to find a way to do something for the community that I am proud of. I'm proud of all of you, everybody that's involved in this active duty and military community. You have a right to be proud, and I feel like I should be proud of all of you, and I am. And I wanted to give everybody a place to gather. I wanted to give everybody a place to come and discuss relevant topics. I wanted to give everybody a place to come and maybe gain a little bit of knowledge and see a point of view that you possibly maybe have not considered previously. I have no hidden agenda and no ulterior motive other than I want to do this to give back to this community. I've been called just about everything you can imagine by various people who have listened to the show, who have seen me, with whom I've had interactions. And I don't let it bother me because I know they represent a very, very small percentage of this community. I think by and large, the mostly silent majority are the types of people who you defined, Bone, talking about when you talked about the people who move on from the military and further themselves and better themselves in their life after the military. That, I think, is the silent majority. It's that vocal minority that gets a lot of attention, and unfortunately, it's that vocal minority that defines, at least in the public view, who we are as military veterans. So to see somebody starting an organization to kind of turn the tide, so to speak, to me is some good feels. So what you're doing, I think, is a good thing because it's chipping away at that stereotype. It's chipping away at that image that we have formed, that some of us have formed for ourselves, and that's the only thing the public sees. Oh, he's a fucking psychopath. He's a baby killer. He's a weirdo. He likes to blow shit up, and this is the yard sign. Combat veteran with PTSD lives here. Please be courteous with fireworks. Hey, you know what? Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Put some earplugs in or put on some headphones or something. Why should everybody else? It's that entitlement. Why should everybody else have to fuck up their 4th of July because you heard a mortar explode, 500 meters away from the fob one time? And I guess it's an extreme case. There are dudes that have severe PTSD. I've never known any of them to have, please be courteous with fireworks signs in the yard. I've gotten way off track here, but I think we have had a hand. We, the community, have had a hand in giving ourselves this fucked up image.
Yeah, and I think you hit a good point earlier. The most functional veterans don't really identify. They just identify as veterans and kind of move on. So it's not a really big deal to them. And I think that it's getting more people involved in representing our community in a positive light. Because most people, they serve maybe 1 tour, 2 tours, whatever they get out there. They've moved on to be successful, and the whole veteran thing's not really a big deal to them. Like they've just, I was in the Marine Corps, I was in the Army, Air Force, Navy, whatever, and they don't really really focus on it. But now I'm starting to see people that are like, why the hell are veterans? Why is this all crazy shit that I'm hearing? Or, of course, the news media, they're perpetuating their own agenda, whatever the end statement may be with the whole veteran thing. But I think that people who want the veterans to be viewed in a positive light need to become more active. And like you said, kind of counterpoint this weird movement to the negative side.
And a good way is just by deciding to do something to help chip away at that stereotype. Do something, man. Don't
Absolutely.
just if it's not your calling to be vocal and put yourself out there in the ways that some of us have chosen to do, there's still something you can do to help erase that negative stereotype. I'll Never Tell in the live chat at WTFNationRadio.com says, it's easier for the public and society to think that vets are crazy. And that's a true statement. It's easy. It's easier. It's more entertaining for the majority of the population to think that vets are crazy. I know it sells more ad revenue on the TV stations to run a story about a crazy vet who went on a shooting rampage and then turned a gun on himself. that draws more viewers than local veterans groups. Local veterans group goes to the local national cemetery and plants flags.
Yep.
That's not newsworthy anymore.
Sensationalizing everything now.
Yeah. I saw a shiny bald head on Facebook Live, so I came here. Welcome. You're in the right place. I got to do something about the glare back here. It is very shiny off my head. Well, Bone, we've been talking about your Functional Veterans Facebook page. Are you just, I don't want to say just like minimizing it somehow, but is that where you are right now, a Facebook page, or is there actually something else going on that we're unaware of?
We have the Facebook page, Instagram, and then we have a website, functionalveterans.com. Right now we have a pretty small shop of gear that we have going. Just trying to get the word out. Me and my wife started this on our own budget, so it's still pretty small, but we're hoping to. We've donated 50% of our profit last year to veteran charities, and it's really not about the money. It's just trying to get this image fixed and get people in the veteran community to get together. And after World War II, especially after Vietnam, with the way the veterans were treated, they had the VFW, they had the American Legion. They really had that close brotherhood and sisterhood after. I think we need to start heading in that direction with the veteran community, especially, not just combat vets, all veterans. It's good to have a place that's safe, that you can go and just, like we talked about the humor before, just be yourself and get that out. And that we need to start heading in that direction rather than all this infighting and shit talking that goes on, especially on social media.
I think the shit talking that was supposed to be limited to shit talking to each other has leaked out into the quote unquote real world.
Yes.
And people are getting the wrong idea about us.
Yep. And that starts with each individual veteran exercising good judgment, like we were taught.
Yeah. I mean, talk shit with your buddies, but fucking, keep that shit under wraps. When you're out in public, lest people, listen, the stereotype's already there. Oh, these fucking crazy veterans. Don't fucking make it easy for them. You're making it easy for everybody. This dude's a psycho. He was in Afghanistan.
Not only that, make the news media dig for a negative story through all the positive.
Yeah, just don't be that guy. And nothing drives me up the wall more than to be out somewhere and have some dude beating his chest about how he, get drunk, start beating his chest about how he deployed. You're all a bunch of fucking pogues. I deployed to Iraq 2 times. I got hit by an IED. I'll whoop all your asses, you motherfuckers. Respect me because I was in the army. Dude, go fuck yourself, man.
Yep.
Save that shit for somebody who cares about how much of a badass you believe you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it 1,000 times.
It's the quiet ones you got to worry about.
Yeah.
The guy that's sitting over there just watching you. Because as soon as you step out of line and inevitably, put your hands on a female or something, that dude's going to jerk a knot in your ass quicker than you can bat an eye.
Yep. Yeah, it's usually the lattice ones are the most insecure about everything.
But you also got to look at the opposite side of the spectrum too. Besides the loud and obnoxious ones, the guys that are stuck in the house that won't leave the house.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, this is by no means too. We've been accused of this too. Also during the 5,000 trolls that we've had, we're not minimizing the crisis that we're having in the veteran community either. There are people with serious side effects, symptoms from their service. And as we all know, there's the organization that's supposed to be taking care of them hasn't really done their job. So to a point, I mean, obviously we're not counselors, we're not trained professionals, but we do need to look after the brothers and sisters that we served with to our left and our right. And I think a good way, like for instance, for me with the company, one of the companies I was in, we have a Facebook page, a secret group that we are all part of, and we stay in contact with each other. And we've had a couple incidences where we've needed to make phone calls and do other stuff to help out with people. And I think that's essential. It's that I said earlier, the brotherhood and the camaraderie that we were raised in is to maintain that.
And that, yeah, and that happens a lot. That veterans look out for one another. It's just there's some that don't know how to act in public.
Well, you got to remember, every platoon probably everyone was ever in, or a company or battery or whatever. There was, there, like you said earlier, there was that guy. Well, they're veterans now, so they're probably the ones raising hell, and you gotta police them up.
Oh my God! You remember that time? No, let's not talk about this right now. Listen, my kids are right here. Could you not talk about us doing the naked run around the fucking? You know what I mean? There's a time and place for everything. I think by and large that the majority of a vast, overwhelming majority of veterans go on to lead, quote, normal lives, productive, contributing members to society who do well for themselves, go on to raise families, and earn a good living, and carry with them the pride of having served, and understand that there's a small group that you can talk to about it, but not everybody's going to understand. And if you're talking to somebody about something who doesn't understand what you're talking about, why are you talking to them about it? Why, if I don't speak Spanish, why are you speaking to me in Spanish? You're just talking to hear yourself talk. Same thing. 2X wants to know if functional vets was a response to dysfunctional vets, and I think 2X came in a little late. I don't know. I'll let you field this one, and I think the short answer is no, but there may be something else here that we haven't uncovered yet.
There's no direct. It was kind of, yeah. I mean, yes, that fed into it, but it wasn't. Oh, we're gonna crush them, and it's just we wanted a response for the other people that don't feel that way. Just have a way to represent themselves. That was our goal, not to, like I said, talk shit or degrade another organization. It's just to give another party to subscribe to that is representing people in the veteran community in a positive light. But it wasn't to, really had nothing to do with dysfunctional veterans. I really don't, not that I don't care what they do, but that's not really in my purview. It's more of just going the positive way. That's kind of our goal.
Yeah. And again, if you tuned in late, I say we, I'm speaking for WTF Nation Radio. We don't have a beef with dysfunctional veterans, the DVs. Some people have alluded to it because of some of the things that we've said about being functional. There's no bad blood there. They serve a purpose. They do good things for the community. So for somebody to try to create a rift between us and them, I think is irresponsible and unfair. When you don't know, you didn't come and talk to me about it. You just assumed, oh, fuck you bitch. Okay, feel better about yourself? You called somebody on the internet a bitch. Congratulations, tough guy.
And again, like you were saying earlier, it's just like in school. It's the most unsecure people about themselves are the ones that are usually the ones throwing the words around like that. That they're afraid to go get the help or whatnot, and they just won't do it. So they have to take their aggressions out on somebody else.
Or somebody has something to prove. You don't have to prove anything to me, man.
Yeah.
Did you wear a uniform? Were you honorably discharged from the military? You're in. You don't have to prove yourself to me.
I'll buy you a beer.
I don't care what you did.
You're good. You're in. Yeah, like you said, you're in. There's nothing more to prove.
You know, you could be like Bone here and be a combat wounded infantryman, or you could be somebody like me who never fucking deployed, a gun bunny, you know, a cannon cocker who never went anywhere besides Korea. Each end of the spectrum, you get the same amount of respect from me. I got nothing but love for this community, man. Why would you purposefully, anybody, come in here and try to ruin that? Why would you come in here and try to wave your dick in everybody's face? I deployed 3 times, and I don't listen, dude. I'm not impressed. Good, thank you for your service, but again, you volunteered for this, man. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you. Let me rephrase that. I don't owe you anything more than I owe the next guy who served.
So I don't get a military discount?
Are you in the military? That sense of entitlement needs to go away. There are things you are entitled to as a veteran. They were contractually agreed upon when you signed up. You're entitled to your benefits from the VA. And I think that you're entitled to the respect of those who served alongside you. Beyond that, man, the people of the United States of America, what do they owe you?
The rest is earned.
They don't owe you. You can't demand respect of the citizens of this country. They don't owe you that. You know, if you want respect yourself. Have some self-respect. But don't go around and demand that people put you on a pedestal because you served in the military. It's an honorable and noble profession. It is. I realize that. The people who served with you realize that. You can't expect the John Q. public to understand the things that you've been through and respect you for. Oh, you were in the military. Thank you for your service. If you get that, you're doing great. But can you honestly expect the average person that you meet in public who has never served in the military to understand what you've been through and to respect that? If you're setting the bar kind of high, if those are your expectations. So be proud of what you did for you and the people that served with you. And don't be a fucking asshole to everybody.
That's rule number 1.
Save that shit for when you get together with your buddies. You know, then you can gay chicken and fucking no balls each other until one of you becomes pregnant. Why the fuck would you be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole? It's not funny, man. It's not cute. You're making yourself out to be that dude that nobody wants to be around. I don't get it, man. It has no appeal to me. Maybe I just don't understand it. It's a pricks.
If people think they're disrespected now, go up to the VFW, go to the American Legion, go talk to those Vietnam veterans when they came back. The ones that were spit on and everything else.
It just wasn't talked about. They were just completely ignored. I think that was the worst, is that no reaction was worse than any reaction. They were just completely forgotten about.
Yep. And that's unfortunate, man. And we have an opportunity to turn that around. But you know, the public's view for a long time changed. And it changed for the good. The public's view of service members changed for the good. And now there's a small vocal minority, but this time it's from within our own ranks, and they're trying to it's like you're intentionally trying to turn the public back against the military. And it's not going to take much. Be careful what you wish for. They'll be fucking throwing cat piss on you in the fucking airport again before it's all over with.
Yeah, would they say one bad apple ruins the bunch?
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. I gotta go give your page a like, Bone. in the flurry of everything I've been doing, I'm neglected to do that. Where are you at on Facebook? Just look up Functional Veterans. Boom, it pops right up. You guys, you got plans to expand or do events or, branch out maybe into other locations, start up chapters, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we would love that. Our big goal is to continue to do charity work with the proceeds from our business. I want to branch out into, because right now we're sponsoring. This year again, we're going to try to sponsor the hunts for disabled veterans. We also contributed to the Global War on Terror Memorial Fund, and I would really like to get into homeless veteran work, and eventually I would like to turn this into a charity. Right now we are a business. We're a for-profit business, but we contribute. Like I said, last year was 50% of our profit went to charity. We're looking to just start we're hoping to be the start of a movement that changes the way veterans are viewed, and then whatever the future holds in that regard, we're looking forward to it.
That's excellent, man, that you choose to do something besides give lip service to the veteran community. So did I hear you say you're looking to make the move to a nonprofit organization?
If we can, yes, if we can. Right now, honestly, there hasn't been a whole lot of interest. We're only about 5,000 people that follow us through various social media. If we can get a movement going, yes, we would like to move to a charitable organization.
Good deal. Sorry, I'm a little distracted at the moment, man. I'm not ignoring you. I got 1,000 things popping up in front of me all at once. All right, man. Bone, I hate to cut this short. I had something urgent that needs my attention. I'll tell you about it off the air. Everybody else, we're going to cut to break a little bit early here, and then we'll come back and do party games like we usually do every Monday and Friday night. Bone, I hope we can have you back on here again soon to discuss your progress. And everybody go check them out on Facebook. Functional Veterans. Doing things to stem the tide of the bad rap that we kind of get in the public eye. It's unfortunate that it's come to this.
Well, I thank you for having me, and I'll come back anytime.
All right, brother. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with games. By the way, this Facebook Live video will restart when I fire the games up. This break may run a little bit long, so give me a few minutes to get everything back on. But we will be back with more, the Monday edition, right here on WTF Nation Radio.
Looking up and fading out, serious shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through, skin is brown, nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? thinking a lot. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me?
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.
You're listening to Redleg on the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. WTF Nation Radio.